Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I am your friend Amudan Shaktivel, and today we'll see another interesting topic on how we can include a property file into our framework. We'll also see why we need to include these kind of property files or external configuration files, right? So we'll cover everything in detail in this video. Again, this is going to be the agenda for today. We're gonna refactor some of the existing code. Okay, we'll revisit all the classes. We'll try to make all the refactoring before heading to a create a new property file. Okay, we'll also try to understand why we need a property file when we already have something called as framework constants, which is already, we are maintaining to maintain some constants, right? If you're new here, please watch the previous video so that you can get a good understanding of what I'm saying now. But still, I'll try to do enough justice if you are new here. Again, we'll also see how we can add a, create a new property file and create a new class, where we need to create all the stuff. Apart from that, we'll also see how what's the code we need to write to read a property file, and we also see how we can optimize the code to read the property file to avoid some null pointer exception. So when I mean NPE, it is null pointer exception. Good. So this is what going to be the agenda for today. So let's get back to the first topic. Like we need to refactor some of the existing code. Again, if you notice, when I did this thread local implementation, I forgot to change the driver at one place. Okay, previously we changed at all the places. Wherever we are using driver, we changed from driver to driver manager dot get driver or set driver. Yeah, but if you notice, I have I have not changed this. Okay, this place is still pointing to this. This is working fine since I ran only two tests. Okay, even somebody in the comment section, they have already highlighted this. They are facing some issue, so we'll see. So what they have tried, they'll try to have more tests in a class file. Okay, so the thread, some of one of the thread will have to execute two tests, another test will execute one test. Okay, so for now, I'm not touching any of this. Okay, let's again go to the, let me open the test ng xml, and again just confirm the thread count is still 2. We have 3 tests to run. So first two tests will be picked up by two threads, and whatever the thread that is completing the task first will pick the third test case, right? So when we doing this, there is a problem. Okay, we'll understand by a simple sysout statement what is happening. Okay, let me just print the sysout statement here, and we'll include uh, let me get the thread. Okay, whatever the thread that is executing this, uh, I want to get the thread id. Okay, I'm also trying to print uh, the driver. Okay, whatever the driver reference we have. Okay, good. So let's first run the test, and then we'll come back to debugging. Okay, we run it as test ng. So obviously the first two tests will pass, the third one will fail. We'll understand the reason. Okay, I can directly say we can change it to driver manager dot get driver, but if you're facing this issue, it's good that we understand. Okay, now I see my two Chrome browsers got open. Okay, the third one is trying to open and it should fail. Okay, if we go to the results, even the results are selling the same. Okay, my two tests got passed and the test 4 got failed. Okay, it is telling there is a null pointer at your 24th line. Okay, if you go to this home page, it is 24th line is having null pointer because my driver is still null. Okay, when it is calling driver manager dot get driver, the default value of the thread local, which is null, that is being returned here. Okay, so let's try to see what's happening in the logs. Okay, okay, when the program started, okay, the two threads parallelly reached the stage. Okay, the thread 12 is little faster, and by the time it reached here, driver is null. Okay, so it entered this. Okay, created a Chrome driver instance and passed it on to thread local. Now the thread local is now having new value. Okay, everything, the two threads are working fine. Okay, at the end of the test, what it will do, it will unload all the thread local values. Okay, now the thread local that is maintained in the driver manager class, this particular thing, after when we call this remove method, all the values will be removed. Okay, so the next thread comes, the 13th thread completed it first, so it tried to pick the next task, that is the test case for executing. But this time the driver is not null because we are not setting it back to null anywhere. So the same thread is trying to access This time this driver variable is not null, so it will not enter this block. So this will not call this set driver method. So still this driver manager dot get driver will return you null, because by default thread local value will be null. So how we can avoid this is just simple. So always either you can also allocate this local variable driver equal to null, but instead of that, why we need this? Okay, why we need this? What we can do, um, you can remove this and you can keep it here. Okay, you don't even need that. Okay, and then change this to driver manager dot get driver. So whenever you are doing some comparison, always get the value from your thread locals. Okay, dot get driver. This is one thing. Okay, second thing, you can change it to a local variable. Again, if you don't even want a reference variable, you can remove this completely. Okay, and then you can directly create like this. Okay, this is also possible. Okay, you can do like anyways. Okay, now we don't need this statement anymore. Now if you press Control D, the entire line will be removed. Okay, yes, you can use that shortcut. Good. Now we have refactored some of the code. Okay, let's try to run the test now. Now everything should work fine. Okay, because we are comparing with the driver manager dot get driver. Since we have called the unload method, so the thread 13, it will be the thread local variable will be back to its null. Okay, so now hopefully all the tests should get passed. So we are slowly progressing, guys. Please, if you are really fast learner, so make sure you just changing the playback speed to 1.5 or 2, if you feel my videos are a little slow. Okay, I'm trying to cover step by step process so that everyone can understand. Okay, now everything is working fine. Okay, good. Now all the problems are solved. But if you notice, let's go one class by class, and then we will try to see and optimize whatever the things that we have created so far. If I go back to my base test, I notice, okay, uh, there is something wrong. What is that? Okay, we have mention the classes based test, but see, I cannot name it as final, because my homepage test and login test have to extend this, so I cannot make it as final. But I have my before method, that is setup method, as public. Okay, anyways, I know only the home page test and the login page test, or whatever the child classes, they are only going to use this. Okay, so by default, I'll try to use private, but then my child classes will not access that. Then I will try to change it to protected. Okay, the same way I will change this. Okay, so the condition is, guys, okay, when you are trying to use an access modifier, please try to use private. Okay, if not possible, try to use protected if you want to use it in the child class, else use default, or at the end, if you don't have any other choice, then use public. Okay, your public should not be the default. Okay, don't think you should not give public access for granted. Okay, please try to follow this particular order. Okay, okay, now I have refactored this class. Let's go to the home page test. I have already kept it as final. Okay, I have also private constructor. This is also good. The same way, I will go to the login page test. It's having a final. Okay, nobody can extend this. And also, it's it's having a private constructor. Good, everything is fine. Now let me go to the driver manager. Okay, private constructor. Good, I want already final is there. Okay, everything looks good. Okay, let's go to the here. Okay, final class, private constructor, all looks good. Maybe the naming convention, okay, I can change a little bit, but we are not using this predominantly. So you can use it, you can change it to driver if you want to change the variable, but again, it's up to you. Okay, even the sonar lint is not suggesting us to change the variable name, so it's absolutely fine. Okay, if you want to change it, yeah, you can give a different name. And we also have one more class called framework constants. Everything looks good. Final, private constructor, everything, we have private. Yeah, everything looks good, so we are good. Now we will get back to the next one. Now we want to add a property file. Again, I'll tell you why. So in our driver class, we are still hard coding. One of our rule is never hard code, right? So what I can do, I can simply cut it. Okay, I can simply cut this and then open the framework constants there, and then I can create a new variable. Okay, I can create private Maybe I'll copy it again. Okay, and then I'll paste it here, and then I can just tell URL, and then I can give the URL here, right? Everything will work absolutely fine. Okay, google.com. But the problem is, okay, if some of my manual testers wants to change the URL. Suppose if for my dev, I want to run the regression suite in dev, or my test or UAT servers, they don't know how to come. They need to install Eclipse, they need to come to this file, they need to change the value. But I want to give the control to my external files. That's why we want to keep it outside the class files. Okay, they will not change the Chrome driver path, so that's why we want to keep it here. So you need to understand why, when we have to use the constants class, or when we have to use the URL. I see people normally keeping this inside. It's up to you. But it's a good, if you want to give the access to your manual testers, or someone who want to run the test, your business clients or someone, then move this to read property, create a property file, put it there, or a JSON file, put it there, and ask them to change it there. Okay, they just want to change, so we will only keep something in the property files if you want people to make changes. Okay, now I cannot keep it here, this we already know. So we'll try to keep a property file for this, for maintaining this. So again, I cannot have it anywhere. I cannot create it in the executable part. So what I am going to do, in the src test resources, I'm going to create another folder. Okay, maybe for another folder. And what I can do, I can name it as config, because this is going to be my configurations, right? I'm going to maintain all the configurations needed for my test, so I can name this folder as config. And inside config, I can go and create a new file called, maybe you can also name it as config properties, or you can framework properties, or whatever. Okay, it's up to you. Framework framework prop or you can simply keep config dot properties, very simple. Okay, doesn't matter. Good. Now I want to maintain my URL here, right? So URL, again guys, somebody will use URL, okay, like this. And then for browser, they will again use like this. Okay, and then for if they want to maintain some implicit weight, they will use like this, implicit weight. There is no formatting here, guys. So some area they're using capital letters, somewhere they're using small letters and capital letters. Don't mix these things. Okay, just follow one thing, so that in your code you don't get confused. I would prefer using everything in small letter, so that it's much more readable. Okay, but if you want to use camel casing or whatever, but please follow the same format across the property file. Okay, so in the URL, I'm going to add https and google. It's good. Now we have added it. Now we need a code to read this. Okay, normally I see people writing this in a class called test base, which has no purpose of which has no need to read a property file, right? When I just read see the name, it does not tell it's gonna read a property file. But people are reading it in driver class, they're reading it. But it's a good convention to keep everything separate, right? As per our framework rules. So what I'm going to do, I cannot create it in the src test, right? Because it does not belongs to test. So what I can do, I cannot create it in constants, because it's not a constant. I cannot create it in driver package, because it does not belongs to driver. So what I can do, I have to create something. It's more of a util, right? So what I can do, I can create com dot, again the convention is com dot your company name and utils. Okay, or you can name it as utilities, it's up to you. And you can create a class now, which only gonna do one purpose. Okay, property file. Okay, good. Now in this property file, again my sonar lint is again telling, see, you're telling remove this empty class or write somebody. Okay, I'll write somebody. But before that, I'll also make constructor as private. This is one of the thing, right? So I'll not, if someone wants to create an object, then I'll give, otherwise I'll keep it as private. Again, I don't want someone to extend this class, so I'll keep it like this. Again, let's go and create a static method. Okay, public static. uh, it's going to, suppose let's say it's, okay, it's like this. If someone is passing me, okay, a key, I'm gonna return them the string. Okay, for example, if you note, let's go here. If someone is passing me the key like URL, then I will return them a string. Okay, so whatever the string they want, so my return type is going to be string. Good. So First, let me create know, connection to the you know uh, property files using file input stream and file yes, or it's just file, it's a fine new put stream, sorry, new file input stream, and you can give the path. Again, the path is your system dot get property to get the I'm using user dot dir to get the current working directory. Okay, and src slash test slash I can hear some of you telling you are hard coding the path now. Yeah, I know that. We will rectify that. Okay, src test resources config slash you know config dot properties. I hope we have entered everything correctly. Otherwise, we'll get some exception. We'll fix it. Okay, let's give the name like this. Again, it's throwing some error. Okay, add the throws declaration. That's fine. Again, I also want to create an properties object. Okay, property. We called new properties. Right. Okay, if you want to load something, okay, property dot load. What the file input stream object is file. Okay, now it's asking me to throw input output exception. That's okay. Okay, that's fine. And then at the end I want to return something, right? So return what I want to return. I want what property dot get property, whatever the key they are passing. If they are passing URL, I'll get the value using this get property method, and I will return them. Now everything looks fine, right? Again, we are throwing some IO exception. So if we go to my this class, I need to just call this get method. Okay, or I can name it as get value, because it will be more reasonable, right? So there is an unused import, so you can remove this. Okay, this is a static method, so I can access this using the class name with the method name. Okay, let's go here, and then I can tell read property file dot get value. What is the string? URL. Okay, now we have thrown an exception here. Okay, we have thrown an exception here. This will be cascaded to the calling method, which is this. So add throw declaration. Again, guys, I will take a very good coverage for exception later, but for now we will live with this. Okay, in the again, this is called from your setup method, so even it will be propagated here. Okay, just save everything. Okay, and try to run the test now. It should work. Okay, let's run as test engine. The only thing that we have done is maybe some bug with the id, so it's highlighting with red, so ignore it. Just close and open, it will go. Yeah, I think it's running two tests now. Okay, it got skipped. Okay, some problem. Okay, so it's telling null value in entry URL equal to null pointer exception, null value in entry. Okay, what is it? Let's go and debug. Okay, properties, yeah, it's good. File input stream, new file input stream, yeah. src test resources config properties, any driver base setup, all good. Property dot file property dot get property key. Okay, key is correct. And let me go to the driver class. Sorry guys, I made a very stupid mistake. I know I have hard coded key. Okay, so it should be the variable, right? So I need to just I have used a double quote, so it became it went there, and then it searched for it searched for key. Okay, it is actually searching like this, some value with the key as key. Okay, good. That is a mistake from my side. It's okay. We will try. No, we've pasted a null pointer exception now, right? It will be a good opportunity for us to fix this issue as well. Okay. First, let's confirm whether everything is working fine so far. Okay. Uh, run as let me run as test engine suite. We also have a good idea now when the null pointer exception will occur. I already have that to be taught. think it's a better opportunity for me to face the issue and fix it. Everything is good. Again, I think we have added three tests now, so I think three tests are running. Maybe I'll remove one of the tests so that you don't need that anymore. Okay, good. So now we faced a null pointer issue, right? So what we can do, we are good. We don't want, again, it does not tell me what is exactly the issue. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to create something like this. Okay, string, maybe the value equal to, let it be a empty string first. Okay, and once I will, what I do, I copy this. Okay, if, okay, uh, I'll assign this to value equal to, okay, I'll just assign to this. Okay, if value equal to null, okay, then I don't want to something. Okay, I want to throw some proper error. I throw new uh, null pointer exception, or you can just wrap it with the exception for now. Okay, then you can tell like, um, okay, the property named, what are the property they are telling. Okay, they are telling this is a property, right? So is not found, please check config.properties. Okay, now we have included this in our code. Okay, now if it's equal to null, then it's fine. If it is not that, then I want to return the value. Okay, again, this will throw, just throw the exception for now, that's okay. Again, I need to change it in other places, like your driver. Okay, I need to change it to exception. Okay, and then in the base test as well. Okay, let me go to the base test, change this to exception. Good, now all the errors are gone. If there is some unused input, press Ctrl Shift and O, remove them, and try to run the test again. Okay, this time I voluntarily, making a mistake in my, let's say I will make a mistake in my, suppose I am passing something like URL in capital letters. Obviously it will not find, right? We are not doing any case checks, so it will obviously fail. So let's see how it fails, and what is the error message it's giving now. Okay, previously it didn't show a proper error message, so it was little difficult for us to understand. Okay, so again, two browsers got opened. So, and it also failed, but this time we are expecting to show a proper uh, error message, but it didn't. Okay, property name URL is not found, please check config.properties. So this is clearly telling us there is a problem with the value that we are passing. Okay, you can customize the message like the way you want, but I hope you all got the idea now. Again, we are doing the null check, right? Again, I told, if you want to do the null check, always use objects dot is null. Okay, we already see how to do this. I think, just a minute. Hey, we have used this across. I have is null, right? Let's check again. Is null. Again, okay. I think it got imported from the wrong package. Okay. Okay. So I just removed it, and again I will import it from the. So there are a lot of options. So okay, you just want to import it from java.util. Okay. Is null, and I am passing value. Okay, it will do the null check for us. Okay, that's all for today, but we are doing something wrong. Okay, uh, we will see what we are doing wrong. Okay, if I want to give a small intro like what we are doing wrong, every time we are calling this get method, we are opening a resource, file input stream, we are loading the property file, and again we are returning. This is a simple task, but every time if you are calling, suppose if you are having 1,000 configurations in your property file, it will be called 1,000 times, and you are making a connection to your property files 1,000 times, right? So this is not a good approach, and we'll see how we can rectify this thing in our next session. Thank you guys, thank you for watching. If you're new here, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you.